So what was it? Was it a cowboy? Was it a fireman? Was it a policeman? Was it a vet? Was it a doctor? Was it a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker? I want to know what you wanted to be when you were growing up. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Video Call-In Show, that show that invites you to be a live video guest on this program to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It could be the topic of the day. It could be current events. It could be personal promotions. It could be just to chew the fat. Now, joining is really easy. All you've got to do is point your browser to zoom.us, click on Join a Meeting, enter in that meeting number when it asks for it. You will show up in my green room, and I will bring you up one by one. First come, first serve, as time allows. I'm going to be here for about the next hour. And by the way, my name is Jim. I am your host for the Video Call-In Show, airing live every Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am here. My job, to listen and learn about you. If that sounds like a show that you're interested in, and you're watching this on any of the platforms that we broadcast on, make sure you follow us. Make sure you share this out if you are so inclined, and make sure that you subscribe if don't have any groove number. if you're so inclined. It really helps the channel out, and I enjoy it, and you have my undying gratitude for doing just that. So tonight, what I do is, for those of you who are wondering and maybe not seeing this for the first, or not seeing this live, or you're watching it after it's been recorded, what I do is I bring up certain topics and I invite all good people to come up and talk about whatever they'd like to. Now, we will touch on the subject because that is part of the show, but that doesn't mean we have to limit ourselves to that conversation specifically. I want to get to know you. I want to talk to you folks. I want to ask you questions. I want you to ask me questions. There's no shortage of things that we can talk about. Now, I usually get to about 3 to 4 guests per evening, which has been pretty standard, and that's all cool. Some of which are not grown up just yet. Speaking of which, let me say hello to those of you in the chat. On YouTube, we've got Wendell Live. How are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Says he's not grown up yet. Dude, I know exactly what you are talking about. Oh, man. I still don't feel grown up, but, here I am, 56 years old, and I do not at all feel grown up. But I think that's kind of good, actually. So, hey, Mo from Next Up is here. How you doing, Mo? Good to see you, my friend. Sean McKenna, always a pleasure to have you. Raven the Commentator 2001, good to see you, hon. Good to see you. Catherine Cook, hello to you. Catherine wanted to be a mom, and she is. 5 children, 3 girls, 2 boys. Very proud of every one of them. Catherine, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I love when people get to realize their dream. I mean, it is somewhat of a rarity. I mean, do a survey sometime on those people who had a dream, went to school for it, and now are not working anywhere near that dream. Let's say, X Country Adventures. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you as well. Jesse Mendez, brother, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hello. Not a great gamer. How are you doing? 18 is still a baby. It's I can remember thinking I was grown up at 18, Raven, and that we all do. But yeah, 18 seems like such a long time ago, and I don't mean to play the old guy card, but it just seems like a really long time ago. Hello, Stephanie from Facebook. How are you? Good to see you again, hon. But tonight's subject is, what did you want to be? What did you want to be growing up? That is the pertinent question. I tell you, I've had a lot of inquiry about the thumbnail I created for this show, and I don't think I've had too many. In fact, you know what I should do is I should dance around that. And if you guys want to guess at what this is, I'm going to give you a chance to guess about this one more time. There's a hint, and I got to tell you, I have not ever had that pickaxe in my hand, nor is that hat a real hat. That is all the magic of Photoshop right there. But that should give you a hint. Should give you a at least, I don't know, 4 or 5 different avenues to consider when you think about what your host wanted to be when he was growing up. I might even have mentioned it in another show. I can't be sure. I've done so many of these. I think I'm over 460 videos now. That's both live streams and guest cuts. So it's really, really tough to say. Really tough to say. We do have a guest, and I'm going to bring them up here in just a second. But I do want to say hello to Pixelpia. How are you? Good to see you. Pixelpia Teaching and Learning. Good to see you again. Your guest cut's coming up soon. Jim from Above and Beyond Drones. These are all on the YouTube chat. How you doing, Jim? Good to see you. 18 with bullets. Still a childhood. Raven, you're going to get that a lot from us older folks when you talk about 18. Most of us would give our right arm to be 18 again, or maybe left arm. I'm not really sure. We got a guest on Facebook, says the next Indiana Jones. Oh, you were so close. I'm sorry, but that's not it. Let's continue with the hellos before I bring up my first guest. New Orleans Girl, how you doing? New Orleans Girl says archaeologist. That is, yeah, you got it. And or a paleontologist, which not a great gamer says. No, not an Egyptologist. But by the way, New Orleans Girl, thanks for being here. You actually did get that right, and had I had a little bit more time, I would have come up with some sort of prize. But that was a great guess, and you got it. I actually liked Stephanie's guess on Facebook, the next Indiana Jones. That was well before Indiana Jones was even a thing, and and I couldn't help but think every time I saw that movie, even when it was first run, I thought Indiana Jones. That dude's running around the desert looking for stuff. Now it was Hollywood, but hey, tacos. Let's see. Let me finish this out. See, even Stacey Morgan had it right afterwards. You want to be one of those guys that found dinosaur bones? Yes, I did. Absolutely, Stacey. Welcome to the show, by the way. Good to see you as well. You got it, man. You absolutely got it. Let's see. All right, then. Got to get my headphones under a. Okay, yeah. Take your time, Sean, and we'll. Oh, I see. You dropped off. That's fine. That just means I get to talk a little bit more about nothing really. Let's see. What else did I want to be when I grew up? That's a question I hadn't even. Paleo Jim. Jesse Mendez, how you doing? That's actually good. I like that. Paleo Jim. For some reason, I had the nickname Diamond Jim when I was younger. Not in school, but after school, oddly enough, which I thought was kind of strange. But had a really good friend just start referring to me as Diamond Jim. And I thought, well, that's odd, but hey, that's cool enough. I'll take it. Oh man. So let's see. What else did I want to be though? I can remember I wanted to be either a race car driver or certainly a motocross star. Now you have to remember that I started racing motorcycles when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. So that qualifies, I would think. I absolutely think that would qualify. But I didn't realize that dream either. Most of you know why I didn't realize that dream. It wasn't an industrial accident, but it was certainly an occupational accident that, occupational, because I wasn't making any money on it. And you don't in the amateur class. I was actually racing to go pro where the money was, and stopped dead in my tracks. And that's all I have to say about that. So Well, Sean, go ahead and dial back in. I think I'm going to call up Angel here since he popped in real fast, and to get to, of course, it's going to be a th. So, and that's whoops. That is the downside to this. I've got to go looking for it, but at least I don't have to type it, which is awesome. All right. Now I just get to hide my self view. We get to see if we can hear Angel. Angel, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, bud. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's good to see you as always.
Well, it's always great to see you, Jim, and it's also great to see Raven, my pony sister, in the chat. I know that's not her child name, it's Raven the commentator, but she is cute with her little picture from Gravity Falls, as cute as this pony is. I respect you, Raven. You are like one of my favorite friends that I got to meet last year, and you're more than welcome to my channel anytime. And you're always welcome in my life. You're a terrific friend to everyone here on YouTube.
She is, and she's actually in line now, so we'll be talking to her soon.
Well, if you heard what I just said, hopefully you enjoyed that, Raven.
We'll find out soon enough, won't we?
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough.
So, Angel, now you've only been on this earth 29 years, but yet you were a child. What did you want to be when you were a younger man?
For me, to be quite honest, I don't know, because growing up, I never got to try to find the field in my life growing up, like how some people, when they're young, already know what they are because their parents see them do. Like some people who are a singer, some people who are an artist, some people who deal in the realm of science and paleontology, etc., and then the realm of doctors. I never was able to figure out what I wanted because growing up, I never really was able to go out into the world because when I was at the age of 5, I always had my dad looking for services for me. When I was at the age of 11, we lived in a trailer court and I never was able to find what I want. But some people suggested things all throughout my life that they think I should be. When I was in school from junior high all throughout high school, some people suggested I should be a comedian because people often refer to me as a class clown, and not the kind of class clown where people laugh at you, mock you, or like ha 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 ha, or that kind of stuff. The kind of class that just wants to have fun and like make the class laugh, and that's what I always did growing up. Is I made the people around me laugh their ass off, and it was never embarrassing. It was worth it, and that's why I was given that name. And some people said I should be a stand-up comedian, and so did Raven a couple weeks back suggested. And I'm trying to find a place here in my area that does open comedy mic night.
Oh, very cool. But I want to go back. Can we go way back here for a minute?
Yeah, let's go way back to the time of the dinosaurs.
we're not going that far back, but we are going to go back. But we are going to go back a little bit, Angel. When you say you see now most kids I know they usually come up with that on their own. And I bet if you think about it, you probably had something like you saw a policeman in action and you thought, oh, it'd be cool to be a policeman just for a short time, if nothing else. Or I don't know, a shopkeeper, or somebody who I don't know, just any number of things. Most people see things around them. I got mine from an encyclopedia of all things. That's where I got the idea of being an archaeologist. Yeah, nobody kind of pushed me in that direction. Now I get what you're saying. If kids have talent and they sing well, then yeah, people encourage them to go down that road. But I think most kids say, I like running around on my stick horse and I want to be a cowboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Surely you had something like that. Like when you're riding your tricycle or something, you thought maybe you'd be
No.
No?
Because a lot of people don't understand what I went through, because at the age of 10 to 11, that was the starting period of my dad finding services for me.
Mhm.
And he went ahead and had me get signed up for a in-home group home service provider. called MCRS. My dad really was never there to take care of me or teach me or even let me experiment things myself. I know I keep on bringing this up, but the thing is, I don't care if he cared for me or not. Parents are supposed to be there to teach their kids, help their kids out to find what they want in life, or even give them the option to try things out or try experiment other opportunities to try to find a career in my life. My dad never did any of that. It's like as though he wanted to get rid of me because he couldn't take my behaviors. He couldn't take my the mental disorders or any of that. And when I learned how to ride a bike at the age of 12, most people learn at the age of 6 or 7. I did not learn how to ride a bike till the age of 12. And when I finally was able to, I wasn't even able to ride around with the kids in my area.
Yeah.
I never was able to ride around with the neighbors. I was never able to even ride near the park by our trailer court. It's like as though I had to be in a strict distance for him to see me. And when I did ride with one of the neighbors one time, he grounded me, took my bike away. And then there was a time where I was so wanting to get back on the bike because I was happy to finally learn and ride the bike. And I did the unthinkable and jumped through a window. And I jumped out the window the wrong way. And I got this a scar here that's been here since the age of 12 when I jumped out the window. But this wouldn't have happened if my dad would have been so strict on me. And I don't necessarily hate my dad to the fullest. I just wish he would have been there to teach me, help me out, and properly help me through the course of my disorders instead of wanting to try to get rid of me as a uncaring parent.
Well, Angel, I'm glad you brought that up again, and especially giving us some new information. Would you mind if we talked about that really briefly? Because I've got 3 more people coming up. Yeah. Now we've had this discussion before about your dad. It's still my belief that one, he didn't know how, right? And that tends to make people believe that they didn't do the right thing, but they really didn't know how to do the right thing. And now I'm going to argue that he cared more than I thought he did when you first talked about this. If he was so concerned about you getting hurt is what it was, because you getting hurt scared the hell out of him, which is why he tried to protect you and keep you from, going with the kids. He might have done it the wrong way, but we all aren't equipped to do all the right thing all the time. But I gotta say, I think he cared for you a hell of a lot, dude.
Well, it doesn't seem like that because if
He doesn't know.
It doesn't seem like because if he really did care, he wouldn't put me in a place that took more care of me than he did himself. I mean, just because the thing is, the place that he put me in helped me throughout the course of me trying to manage my behavior and me trying to go through life of like not getting so far as I escalated or as far as my temperament because the place that my dad put me in of MCRS, they did more to help me than my dad ever had. And if my dad really did care, he wouldn't put me in the kind of situation or facility that he did. Because if you recently heard about the story about a father trying to save his son from getting a transgender transaction, the dad is trying to look out for his son, but the mom doesn't care about the son. The mom wants the son to be turned into a girl. If the mom really did care about the kid, the mom would like not do this to her own son and let the dad take care of him. And that's what it seems like for me. Like my dad, if he really did care, he wouldn't put me in the situation that he did or the facility that he did. He would just like come to me when the time is necessary to talk to me and help me through life of coping and management and try to teach me things his own so that way I could try to live the life with him and be with him. But does it seem like he cared? No, it doesn't.
Well, Angel, I know you guys have a checkered past, your father and you, um, and I'm sorry that happened that way. I can't get off the of my initial assessment where I think he cared and he just didn't know how to deal with it, and that's why he ended up handing you to someone else who he thought maybe could deal with it. Even you said it was good for you, but I don't want to. I don't think we should go too deep into that. All right, bud. I think you turned out great, and think about how your dad might have been feeling and not been able to deal with it, and maybe you'll see it just a hair different, dude. Okay.
But if there was a career that I wished I would go upon, if my dad was to help me learn the careers and such, it would either be a voiceover person for like TV shows and movies, or some form of supporting acting role.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Angel.
But I know you have a busy schedule with your people here. I don't know how much longer that McKenna can wait before she blows her horns at me. I love you, Raven. You are cute and cuddly. You are one of my best friends. And please don't let the pickle squeeze away.
Nice, Angel. Nice. Hey, buddy, have a good evening. All right.
And I wish I could tell more about what I wanted to do growing up, but there really wasn't all that much that I was able to do or experiment with. But I'll hope to find something still within the years I have in my life, because I'm pretty sure I have a whole bunch of decades upon me. But I'm hoping I can find something before I become 99 years old.
Plenty of time. Yep. Plenty of time, and make the most of it, Angel. See you, buddy. Yeah. Oh, always a treat having Angel on. Yes, and I was right. I do have several more guests, but I do want to say hello to some folks that popped in when I was a little busy there. Awesome Epic Adventures. How are you? Good to see you again. Thanks for being here. Rent to Grow. Claire, how are you? Claire is actually in the queue. On her phone, and we'll be open the description box. Well, some people, okay. She's looking for the code. She got the code, obviously. Let's see. I know I saw some others. Outdoorsy Gal. Oh, how you doing, Chrissy? Good to see you. And I think did I say hello to Paul? No, I didn't. Paul Michael DB, how are you, man? Good to see you. Welcome. Viewed this, Tony. I didn't want to make kids' toys. I wanted to be a dentist. All right, who knows what that's from? Well played, my friend. Well played. Grumpy Vlogger Lloyd, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Okay. Dirty D's. What's happening with you, my friend? What is happening with you? All right. Let's bring up our next guest, shall we? And since I've got 4, I've got to make this pretty quick. Can you hear me? She's there. She's there.
Never thought that I'd be doing like a lot of listening. No, what did I?
No, that was the last thing I expected to hear, actually.
No.
And Champworks Garage, I didn't miss you. That's my son, by the way. And he's saying I missed him. I didn't see your tag, bud. I really didn't see your tag. Oh, of all people, I should miss my son, right?
Yeah, probably, because he's so grown up.
He is. He's older than you are. He's actually older than Angel is.
I mean, funny how Angel mentioned something about voiceover acting.
I know.
When he was like when he was in the call earlier, because if you have you ever had the feeling that when you really idolize someone, whether like you're a child and you've idolized that person ever since you were a child, you wanted to be just like them?
Absolutely.
That's me. That's me with Tara Strong. That's me with like any other voiceover actor that I have previously mentioned, like in another show. I think it was like Favorite Celebrities.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I know that, and as soon as like I have like heard a lot about like there are some other like voice acting class opportunities, and even like D. Bradley Baker mentioned at a Comic-Con once that he has a website called iwannabeavoiceactor.com, and it's kind of interesting that he mentioned that because I want to, as someone who wants to be in the voice acting career and as someone who's pursuing a degree in radio and television, and I'm not sure if that was required, but it might help me with some opportunities, rather be like, what it's like to be behind the mic and just sharing your voice with the world. That's what voice acting is all about, right?
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Not only that, but your acting skills as well, because it's, I would argue that it's even tougher than acting, because now you've got to convey emotions using just these chords.
Yes, you really do. Like, rather you just want to, convey, like, it's say, like, you want to recite a line from Shakespeare, and you go, to be or not to be? That is the question. You have to convey as much emotion as possible in order to like portray the character correctly.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the voice actors that I truly admire, they put in like their emotions into their voice, and that's what I really admire about voiceover acting, is that you don't have to like act on camera, and you don't have to act out your emotions. You just have to use your voice in order to convey a message or emotions. That's it.
Yes. Well, with that, and I would say you got to add a little vibrato for cheesy effect. To be,
yeah,
or not to be.
Or
that didn't get any bit worse than that. So
nope. And I know I've already showed this picture already, but this is the person who I've been idolizing ever since, like, literally the very beginning of me being a big fan of animation. That's Tara Strong right there. Like, she is like.
Bring it closer to the camera.
Bring it closer?
Yeah, there you go.
This is, yeah. Do any of you in chat recognize this picture? I've shown this in the favorite celebrities.
Yes, I've seen the picture.
This is who I have idolized. Like, even like as I've idolized her then, and I still idolize her now, mainly because of how she is a very, very kind person. Even though she is a celebrity and she's rich, she doesn't really just stop there at being rich and not being compassionate. No, she takes the opportunity. She takes the best opportunity that she can in order to spread kindness around the world, especially like to her fans. Mm-hmm. And I remember meeting her for the first time, especially on like when I took a picture with her. Oh my gosh, she was super nice. And she and when she signed my picture, oh my gosh, it just felt like, oh, my life just flashed right before my eyes.
Let that be a lesson to you folks who are going to get big, right? Never forget your fans. Me, I'm going to be an asshole. But listen, when you guys get famous,
I most certainly will never forget my fans whenever like I become famous, or if I ever get into like the voice acting thing, in real time and not just, on online projects.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that you connect with the people that enjoy what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was making light, of course, but I firmly believe that, because here's how I know. When I was working at a television station, I was the only internet reporter, for lack of a better term. This is back in the early days, right? Mid-90s. No one was doing internet reporting at that time. But I was reporting on events like the Indianapolis 500, sporting events, and that sort of thing. And between me, you, and this camera right here, I never met a larger group. Now, it's probably different now because all those drivers are done. But I never met a larger group of well, I'll call them what they are, assholes, than the group of NASCAR drivers that I regularly ran into during the Brickyard. Honestly. And I never got over that, especially since that type of racing is usually closer to the fans than anything else. And but hey, that's between you. Keep that to yourself, Raven.
Yeah.
But I tell you, the IndyCar drivers and most of the sports figures, when I went to a sporting event to cover that, nicest guys in the world. Nicest guys in the world, at least to the press. So. That is, for whatever that's worth.
Like, why would you want to, why would you want to look good? Why would you want to be nice to people? Why would you want to look good for the sake of press? Don't do that for the sake of getting press. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. Do it because, well, it makes you feel good and it makes your fans feel good. Tara Strong, she never really is kind to people for press.
Yeah.
She just does it because she knows it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what you do. If you ever find yourself in that position, hide your press pass and just keep your other credentials in there. Then you really get to know, who it is you're talking to. Because if they'll put on a press face. But what I used to do is I used to literally test it out and just I'd shove my press pass underneath all my other credentials, go up and start talking to them, and I could tell right away whether or not they, gave two craps about talking to me. And I usually know what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to automotive things and sports. And it was telling, to be sure. I was actually shocked, to be honest. And it was probably a 60% horrible person percentile. And again, this is back in the day. This is mid to late 90s.
Yeah, like way before like social media became very prominent. Now, with social media platforms like Facebook or Twitter, it makes it much easier for celebrities to connect with their fans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're right. It does. It does. And they're actually forced to, even though some don't do it very well. Social media is one of those things where you probably get to learn more about a person than you ever wanted to, and that as soon as they let that information out, they regret it. But everything lives forever on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And speaking of the internet, the day that that my dream was realized, that was when we had these little email exchanges about some potential voice work for an animated project by a young animator.
You talking about our emails?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so I was talking with the person responsible for the J&M animated comic things, the one Jack, and I've been through and I've answered some questions, and I gave him some test lines, and I got the part as Mary.
Awesome. Have you done any work? Have you guys cut any audio yet?
Not yet, though. We're still trying to, and Jack's still trying to work on the little animation bit.
Sure.
And he's redoing all the animations. But hopefully we'll get to hear some Mary in the future. We'll just have to talk to Jack more on Discord about that.
Yeah.
Just so we can see the progress and see the behind the scenes of it.
Yeah. That's so cool. Well, congratulations on that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And no, I am not Raven's agent.
Nope.
He actually thought I was your agent. Oh, well, that's great news, Raven.
The funny thing is, though, that Tony actually recommended that to me.
Yes, she's broken up, but Tony says sweet. He recognizes that was a good deal. Tony started this. He actually contacted Tony first, and then I contacted Raven and got it going. And it looks like we might have lost Raven for the evening. But Raven, she's back.
Oh,
I was just going to congratulate one more time and move on to my next guest.
Funny enough, though, Tony was the one who actually recommended that part to me in an email because, I just as soon as I saw that, I just took that opportunity right away, and then I just started getting into contacts more and more, and it just feels like I'm the only person on the autism spectrum that's part of the voice cast.
Oh, really?
And it feels like I'm just so lonely. I told him that I told Jack that I was on the autism spectrum, and he was like, "Well, you might be the only one." And he's met different people who are on different spectrums, and that's the beauty of the internet.
Yeah.
You get to meet different people.
Absolutely. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
All right, Raven. Well, I'm going to move on to my next guest, hon. Thanks for sharing, your dreams and aspirations, and again, congrats on that. That's fantastic news.
Thank you very much.
You bet. We'll talk to you later, hon.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That is so cool. She's right. It was it was viewed this. Tony got a message from the guy. Tony went through me because Raven and I had been exchanging some emails, and I just forwarded it on, and that's so awesome. That is so awesome. Single-handed clap. Good. What is it? What was that? Good job. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. David, the producer, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show, of course. Always nice to see you in here. Tell you what, let me bring in my next guest, shall I? I want to be old when I grow up. Well, David, you are going to realize your dream, my friend. I just hope it's not, I hope it's later than sooner, honestly. All right, let's do this. Let's bring in my next guest. This will be her second appearance on the show.
Oh, let me
Whoops. Kill myself view.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I had to mute you. I had
Mute
to
the,
mute you here so I could hear you here.
Yeah, got to mute that YouTube video.
I know. Well, I was busy watching you talk to Raven, so.
Cynthia, how the heck are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am just fine. It's so good to see you on the show. I mean, what was it, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. But
Awesome.
I saw your topic for tonight, and I just got home, so I thought I'd pop in.
Well, that begs the question. What did Cynthia want to be when she was growing up?
Well, it's funny. I just caught the tail end when I first came on of you saying something about wanting to be an archaeologist.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is what I desperately wanted to be from the time I was about 6 years old.
Really?
Yeah. And I can tell you why, but I wanted to do it, but I didn't take it seriously enough. And my parents were, they grew up in the Bronx. They came up from nothing. What did they didn't know from archaeology.
Right.
But when I was a little girl, and I grew up in New York City, and I don't live far from the city now, but I grew up in New York City, and I spent a lot of time at the Museum of Natural History. Still one of my most favorite places on earth.
Yeah.
Bones, digs, and they brought the King Tut.
The exhibit?
The exhibit came when I was a little girl. I remember they actually had the walls up from the tomb, and I remember walking around those walls and touching them back in the day when you could, trust human beings to touch relics.
Yeah.
Unlike today.
Days are gone.
I was a little girl and I got to touch them, and I started for me a love of ancient Egypt, and then I wanted to be an archaeologist for the longest time, way before. What were those movies?
The Indiana Jones movies. Yeah. The Raiders movies.
Way before Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
For years, I as a little girl, I had 3 sets of encyclopedias. One was a science set, and 2 were regular. and if I had a question, I went and I looked it up in my encyclopedias. So, and I'm still an information junkie to this day. And I would pore over these books and these stories, and then I'd ask more questions, and my parents would go, get the encyclopedia. We don't know. We're from the Bronx. We don't know. And I wanted to do, but then as I got older, and you're going to high school and you're thinking about going to college and you're thinking for real about a career. And it was like, well, you're not that good at science.
Why? Was that what killed it for you? Because I really wanted to know.
And the reality of it is that bless the archaeologists and the ones that get to go with the brush and the spoon and dig up the bones, bless their hearts, but they spend most of the year trying to get funding to do that, and then a little bit of time if they are lucky enough to get on a dig. So I would have been terrible at that. I've not been a good fundraiser, and if be an archaeologist and not have to wait tables, you have to be a good fundraiser. So it was probably a blessing. So I went to college thinking I was going to be a writer.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you had aspirations.
I still have aspirations of being a writer.
Well, that is one occupation that knows no age, right?
Thankfully.
Yeah. I mean, it takes time. But, if you want to play football, you get a window. If you want to be a writer, your window's a bit bigger than that.
That's right. Well, I am writing a book, but I've been writing it now. I'm trying to get back to it now after a couple of years. Just what happened was I got a block. I decided that even though I have a full synopsis of the whole book. It's 25% written. I know where it's going pretty much. I have to work on the mythology a little bit. But I convinced myself that nobody would like it, that nobody cares. No, there's no deadlines. Nobody is waiting on it. So I've just scared myself into not writing, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the lack of urgency, whether it's internal or external, is a killer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that all too well. I've got I've got 1,000 projects and hobbies that have suffered or fallen to that exact same scenario.
Well, I've promised to myself that 2020 will be the year I finish it. And my husband said, just finish the book. We'll self-publish it. Who doesn't matter. And I'm now have decided that I'm going to finish it, even if my mother and my husband are the only people who ever read it. I'm going to finish this book. So I'm going to do that.
I love the goal. I absolutely love the goal. If I had anything to add to that, I would say put it in big block letters and put it on your fridge so you see it every day.
I know, and it's funny because when I was working on it, I really enjoyed it. To me, it's an interesting book. It's an interesting story, and all the facets of it are interesting. But and I'm about to turn 59 years old. When you're my age and you can still convince yourself that you fear failure, it's a bummer. Man, I shouldn't be fearing failure at this point. I have a successful career, I have a home, I have a family, but so I write a crappy book.
Exactly.
I should finish it.
Exactly. The worst thing you can do is be your own judge. It's like you want to you do what you want to do, and if you're happy with it, you're the only one that gets taken to the grave. Am I right?
And I know that if I don't finish this book, it will be my life's biggest regret.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of that weighing on me.
Yeah.
It weighs on me. It's terrible, and it's my own fault.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm pulling for you, Cynthia. I want to see you. And yeah, man, you really you're in an advantage now because we're in a day and age where self-publishing is very easy. Self-promotion of the same is so much easier and more profitable in many cases.
People that I know that have published, and I know a few, some very successful, some have a modicum of success. Even if for most people, a publishing house picks it up, you still have to do your own marketing. It's a new world. It's not like, they're going to publish my book and they're just going to tell me where to go to do book signings.
Yeah, nope.
Not like that anymore. You've got to do all the social media. You have to do it yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
But you know what? I'm going to worry about that when I write the 2 words, the end. Because as much as I want to be a writer, I want to have written.
Oh, David, the producer in the chat says, have Cynthia send me a note. I can connect her to quite a few publishers. There you go.
I appreciate that. That's very sweet of you. I will do that. I honestly, at some point, I would love to have somebody say, we like this book. Now go finish it or else. That would be the best thing for me. And I've already told my husband I need to go away somewhere for 2 weeks and I will finish it. Just let me go somewhere where there's not somebody to make dinner for or this or that. There's always a million other things to do and it's terrible. I just need to be alone with my laptop and my stuff and finish it. So
yeah, there's nothing like an advance and a deadline to motivate you.
I would love to have somebody, I would love to have somebody pressuring me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get it. I totally get it.
It would help.
Yes.
I really think it would help.
I would agree. A lot of, especially when there's you're not looking at this as, well, to put food on the table, right? So that pressure is actually way off and it's probably part of the block. It's like, well, I don't have to finish this. so I don't have to come up with those ideas. You know what I mean?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And hang on, I'll be right with you, honey. My husband.
Tell them we said howdy.
Waving to me from the hallway.
So the video calling show says hello.
Nobody cares but me right now.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because for the past couple of years, I haven't been enough. You know, so.
Have you ever watched the TED Talk on procrastination? I know this is kind of an odd segue, but
I don't know, but I love the TED Talks. Oh man, they're so good.
Just do a quick search. Yeah, do a quick search on TED Talks, procrastination. The guy is a career procrastinator, and it's a really good talk. Good talk.
I will look that up, because some of those are so good.
Yeah, I learned a lot about myself.
That can be frightening.
It is, really. Actually, he actually gives you a couple characters to blame it on. No more, because otherwise it'd be a spoiler alert. So.
Okay, I will look it up. Okay.
Oh, and always remember that fear itself is harmless. I've said this 1,000 times. Fear itself is harmless, but the fear of failure kills.
It's so, and I'm really surprised myself, because when my children were young, they had this issue where, like, I don't remember if it was my son or my daughter, they'd go in and take a test, and if they got to a question they didn't know the answer to, they would just put their pencil down and stop. And the teacher would tell us this. I'm like, they did what? Like, skip it.
Yes.
Go on.
Come back to it.
It's just come back to it. Yes.
When in doubt, choose C.
But it was crazy. So I racked my brains. I'm like, what have I done to my children to cause them to have this fear that they would just stop dead and just look at the rest of the page as empty and think, this is a good idea. I'm going to just stop.
Did you ever figure it out?
I don't even remember.
Oh, man.
My children are in their 20s now.
Yeah.
They survived me and my husband. They survived. And they.
Well, that's a badge of honor in itself.
The fear of failure, and that's what it was.
Oh.
We had to teach them, and it was quite a lesson to teach them, like, look, because they thought if they didn't do it right the first time, there was something wrong with them. Like, what are you talking about? We learn by doing things wrong.
Yes.
Well, nobody does something right the first time unless they're a savant. I mean, that's a rare thing. There's some things you can do right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, you can drink a cup of water. Well, even that, you're a kid.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. It doesn't work the first time either, but they didn't remember that. So we had to teach them. We fail, and then we pick ourselves up, and we're better at it the next time we try it. And
Exactly.
it was, yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. And so I am floored by the fact that I did this to myself. I'm like, I'm so angry at myself. Like, what is the matter with you? What is the matter with you? So I think sometimes I'm just going to write the rest of the book like in crayon, like, and whatever it is, and then I'll edit it. Just finish it, just to get to the end.
Imagine the weight that will be lifted off your shoulders.
I know. I mean, writing. I don't. Have you written any books or anything?
Well, I've written poetry. I've written some songs.
Okay,
which I see as
cool.
completely different art form.
It is. I am not a poet. I mean, for a writing class one time, we had to write a poem, and I think I wrote a haiku.
Oh, yeah.
And I was actually really proud of it. All those 3 little lines. I'm not a poet, and I know it.
Yeah.
But when you're writing, you write. And I was in a critique group for a long time,
and
they were wonderful, and it helped me get as far as I did with the book. You'll write, but we had one guy that would come to the group, and every week he rewrote the same chapter.
Really?
For like 10 weeks. He would read us, and he's okay. We were like, okay, read us your 25 pages tonight. Oh, okay. And then it'd be like, oh no, it's the same wait, it's better now. Oh. I swear to you, for 10 weeks, he rewrote the same chapter over and over again, which is very easy to do because you write it and you're like, I have to fix it now. But I think the better thing to do is just write it all.
Yes.
And then go back and fix it.
And you've even got to limit that because we all have a certain sense of OCD. Yeah. And if you allow that to get in your way, it will get in your way.
Right. And eventually, whomever you have edited for you is going to do that anyway.
Yes.
They're going to take out all the little words.
But they can be objective.
Every time you say the word "that" or "had," it's all going to come.
Yes. But like I said, they can be objective and we can't. Not when it's our baby. Nope.
But that's really scary. But they used to say it's like giving your baby to someone. In the critique group, the author that was running the group used to say it's like giving your baby to someone. I said, no, it's not. It's like them taking your baby and then whacking it against the wall a couple of times and giving it back to you. I said, I don't want my baby to go through that.
Well, here, pro tip, keep a copy of your baby. Give them a copy, and then take what they give you that you want to take and forget the rest.
I actually look forward to that day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I look forward to actually having another human being besides my husband read it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because he's only partially objective.
Partially. Although he kind of crosses his eyes a little bit. It's a scary story with a little bit of humor and a little bit of adult situations, and so he's like,
even better! I can't.
Parts. I'm like, no.
Can't wait to read it.
So
I can't wait to read it.
Me too.
Well, Cynthia, I'd like to talk to you more about this actually, and go back to the other subject as well, because we have that same sort of same aspirations when we were growing up. Our paths were a little bit different, but man, they were close. They were very, very close. Yeah. And we got off on the book, which is great. And I was serious about wanting to read it, but no, that's fine. But yeah,
that's my second thing I wish I want to be, though.
Yes. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I don't have a list long enough for all the ones I've wanted to be, so I'll leave it at that.
That's great.
Well, it's always a good time talking to you, and I appreciate you coming up and sharing that with me. And yeah, keep us apprised on that book, will you?
I will actually. I have a second streaming channel that I've set up where I'm going to start doing my streams, and it's not just going to be about my regular topic. I'm going to be doing streams. I figured if I do streams about the process, maybe that will help me continue the process. So,
well,
but I'll definitely let you know.
And I'll try to help too. Maybe once a month when I see you in a chat, I'll just poke you.
How's that book?
How's that book coming? No, I don't want to be an annoyance.
Well, it's been wonderful. Thanks for having me up.
You bet. Take care, hon.
Take care.
I wish I had the I wish I had enough ideas. I've written some short stories. Pardon me, just for a second. I had to turn on a small fan. I've had some ideas for some short stories, but I've never, I've written some short stories, but never thought of a long form. And I'd like to try that one of these days. Maybe I will. Yeah, Brand Ariels, how you doing? That TED Talk, who was that suggested? It might have been Tony. I can't remember from View This. But check that out. And hey, Manic Magic, Trevor, how are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. If I missed, I thought I saw Gaffa Haynes in here. Guys, if I didn't see you, tag me and I'll let you know, or I'll say hello, because I do want to know when you're here. It's fantastic to have you here, as always. Let me do this and bring up my next guest, because we are, and I'm not rushing him, but letting everybody know that I'm running out of time here. Let's see. That's one thing about this. I've got to go down and look for alphabetical order. So, can you hear me yet?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you, Claire?
I'm doing all right.
Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. You'll have to forgive me. I am not behaving ladylike tonight.
Well, you didn't have any near-death experiences, did you, tonight?
Not personally.
Okay, good. Worried about you,
Yeah.
not the spiders.
Yeah. Anyway. So I had a thing for you.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to say thank you. I know I've told you this before, but thank you for doing what you do.
You're welcome.
And thank you for trying to bring healing to everyone that you meet and try to reconcile wrongs that you did not experience that are just everywhere. I really appreciate your commitment to the people that you meet, because it is so genuine and so uncommon. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Yes, I'm embarrassed now, but that's awesome. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's important to me to, be real and talk to people as though we were standing face to face and I've known them for years, I'm glad that's being noticed. I appreciate that, hon. I really do.
I had written like literally an entire page here of like stuff I wanted to say, but I'm not gonna like bore you with the entire thing. Plus, my penmanship sucks, so I wrote it with Sharpie, so it bled really bad. Let's
What
see.
happened now? What'd you say about blood really bad?
I wrote with a Sharpie, so
Oh.
the bled really bad.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I wrote something along the lines of you try to see the best in everybody, and I try to do the same. And I genuinely think that everybody is doing the best that they think that they can. And I think that you would share that belief with me. So, thank you for that. I feel like if a lot more people were willing to say, you know what, I think you think that you're doing the best that you can, and not just point out what people could be doing differently without living their lives, I think a lot more people would be a lot less disappointed.
Well stated. um, yeah, I couldn't, I can't say, I can't even comment on that.
Okay.
I'm beside myself. I really appreciate that. Those are so kind words. And, it's something I didn't even think about. I've said this before. What you see is what you get with me. And, oh, this is what I wanted to say. If you don't mind me interrupting just really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
I honestly believe that there are more good people than bad in this world. I think I've made that clear, at least with my closer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that no matter what you do, you've got to look past the veneer, because everybody's got a veneer. Everyone's got a wall that they walk around with until, you know, you're able to talk and break through that wall.
Yeah.
And it's a survival instinct. Totally get that. I'm glad that this show has been a vehicle for nearly 100 people in that respect. So
Yeah.
I can't believe you wrote that down.
I really encourage people to love people anyway. The operative word being anyway. Even if it's hard, and even if you have to choose to do so, which a lot of us have to choose to do so, I really encourage people to love people anyway and find a reason to love them. And, I think that you're doing that on a platform where nobody else is. And I'm really grateful that you have chosen this way to spend your evenings. I'm so grateful for you.
Well, thank you. Believe me, it goes both ways. I'm grateful for you guys too, honestly.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, obviously, by looking my earlier videos. By the way, don't look at my earlier videos.
I know you said you spent several months talking to yourself. So
yeah, it was at least 2 solid months, and if you can imagine how lonely that was, and painful for a guy who doesn't normally, I'm just not that verbally gifted, I would say. It was tough. Well, I don't see myself that way. You know how we are. We're all our worst critics, but I never saw myself as like the chatty guy, that. But imagine my pain having to talk for an hour to nothing, to no one.
I am so grateful that you persevered. Like I know that I've watched you for many months now, and I love how delicately you handle certain situations, and how honest you are with certain people. Like I love how you craft the conversation to fit the show, and I love how you how you curve everything into a positive light, and like that takes like dedicated effort and actual thought in the conversation, and I'm telling you right now, it's not missed.
Well, there's nothing better than to hear that that it's not being missed. Surely I'm blushing at this point. I know it's hotter than hell in here.
It might be the high blood pressure, we don't know.
It could be like, it could be a stroke. Who knows? Oh, Claire, we lost you. Oh, there you are. You're back.
Almost died. Hold on, I'm gonna plug it in.
Okay.
So anyway,
Wow, that is so cool. So, as I will do, divert the attention away from me. This is about you. And I got to know what. Thank you so much for that, by the way. Thank you so much. And I, like I said, I can't believe you wrote it down. That speaks volumes. But like I said, this show is about you. I got to know, what did Claire want to be when she was a little girl?
Okay, so I had my whole little preface there, and I have a secondary preface, a foreword, if you will, where I do not want anybody to feel sorry for me, and I do not want anybody to see missed opportunity. I don't want anybody to feel bad about the story that I'm about to share, but it is a sad one. So, here we go. So I really, like, from my earliest recollection, which, as we spoke about a few days ago, or a week ago or more, was my earliest memory is about 2.5 years old. But from my earliest recollection, I wanted to be an OBGYN. And I never knew why. It weirded the hell out of my mom, because I was homeschooled, and on TLC from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time, they would air a show called Birth Story or Birthday or something like that.
Okay, I thought you said her, but yeah, birth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it followed couples who were having babies at like Cedar Sinai and like all these like very well-known hospitals, and it would follow their birth story way before people were, hiring videographers and putting them on YouTube. And I was completely enthralled. I wanted to be the baby doctor. I wanted to be the prenatal doctor. I wanted to do the postnatal care. I wanted to do that. I wanted that so bad. Now, looking back, knowing that my mom had cancer before I was born, ovarian cancer, and losing my brother, and then having me choosing to have a decreased life expectancy in order to have me and my sister, and then being diagnosed again after my sister was born, being in remission for 14 years, and then ultimately dying of the disease, in her 40s. I know now, especially being older and understanding how short of a time that really was for her, and understanding that, a few years, like a year and a half before I was born, she lost her son and battled cancer, chose to have me and my sister, had my sister, and then had cancer again, all within the span of 5 years. I know now that I went several months without seeing my mom because she was in treatment. And I know that I went to doctor visits, not with her, but like on out of state visits, for that purpose. And, in that 5-year period, I was alive for about 3 of it. And knowing that all of that was like subliminally, even though nobody told a 3-year-old what we were there for, like I knew at least at some point that that's what we were doing. And so I guess that's why I wanted that. and that's why it weirded my mom out so bad.
Really?
Because the worst people she ever knew were OBGYNs, I guess. They were associated with some of the worst memories of her life.
Yeah.
And then after my mom got sick again when I was 16, and after she passed very shortly thereafter, and after I didn't know that she was going to die until she was like literally had passed in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else knew, but they weren't allowed to tell me because she didn't want me to know. I've cleaned up more throw up in my life than I ever should have had to. And I can still tell you to this day exactly what milligram dosage that she was on for all of her medicines. And I was truant from school that year because I would fake sick and stay home with her because nobody else could. And I don't want to be an OBGYN anymore. But I wanted that for a really long, it's the thing that I've wanted for the most part of my life. And I've toyed around with the idea of being a doula or a midwife or whatever, but I don't think that I could be there and deal with that again.
So it was the situation that kind of pulled you away from that as a possible occupation?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, if she hadn't passed, if I had gotten to be the person that was like, you're diagnosed with this and we're going to beat it. We've caught it early. We're going to do this thing. My mom went through this, and I could like empathize with somebody on that level. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
But because I had lived the other side of it, I don't think I can anymore. And I don't want that anymore. And I still have a hard time, even when I pick up odd jobs waitressing, I still have a hard time being around anybody who coughs or gags or whatever they will do in a restaurant. I can't go to movie theaters because people choke on popcorn way too much. And like, I can't anymore. And it broke me a lot.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be an OBGYN. And I think that it is an incredible, noble profession, and they do not have enough resources and research under their belt. I think that there are some things that are commonplace in the U.S. now in that field that are not needed and that are money makers.
Mm-hmm.
But I have done a just incredible amount of independent research because that's what I wanted to do, that I'm able to formulate that opinion now.
Mm-hmm.
And I challenge anybody in the field to come at me with their counterbalance. I'm so empowered now when I go to have kids about my own opinions. Like, I dare them to come at me. But that's why I wanted to come share, because you've heard wacky stories about my parents, but that one shaped me the most and for the longest period of time.
That's fascinating. And if I may say so, there is at least that as a silver lining. Not that it's the only one, but in preparation for you for
Yes.
later on in life, especially when it comes to one of the most important things ever, and that is having children. I would call that a silver lining, and I hope you look at it that way.
I do,
Yep.
and I'm really, I've been a big, because I'm 25 now. A lot of my friends have kids, and when they've gone to have kids or they've been pregnant, of course, a lot of my childhood friends I had moved away from. I've just moved back. I've done a lot of baby snuggling since I've been back, and that's a good position to be in.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of my friends, even though I wasn't able to be there physically for their pregnancies, if they have questions, if they're swelling a fair amount, or if they are hand numb, or if they are, having some lady bits concerns related to pregnancy, I've been able to say, hey, it might be this thing, but it might also be this thing. Please talk to your auntie about it, or
don't worry, wait till your next checkup, then ask about it. You know, and I've been able to help a lot of people feel more confident. Not that I am in any way, shape, or form a professional, not in the slightest, but you know, normal first-time mom jitters, even though I've not, you know, successfully had my own child, that is something that has come from it, is that, you know, I've been able to kind of reaffirm the first-time moms in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that was a huge thing, because I always admire people who not only face adversity and overcome adversity, but also use that same knowledge or experience to help others. And that's exactly what you're doing. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. And not only that, but you recognize that you're not, you know, a physician, right? So you're not going to go down that road.
Like if you come at me and you're crowning, I'm calling 911. I'm not helping you. Like, I mean, I would help you. Like if you were at that point, I would like help you to the best of my ability, but I'm calling 911 first, and we're boiling some stuff.
Yeah. Well, if that ever happens, you're in charge of water. I'll grab the sheets.
Deal.
Oh, well, Claire, you know, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Even, you know, I don't even know what to say after a story like that. I know you don't want it to be a sob fest in this, because there is that shining side to it, right?
Right. I'm not upset about it. You know, I have found a brand new lease in life, and, you know, even though that is a thing that I wanted for a long time, I don't think that my passion for it is gone. Maybe I'll heal enough that I'll do something with it. Maybe that information will come to benefit me in real life. I don't know. But at the same time, you know, I'm fulfilled in vastly different ways now, and that is totally okay with me.
Well, that's what's important too. That's awesome. Well, you took this show where I didn't expect it to go, and I thank you for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always do that.
No. Don't apologize. You had some really wonderful things to say, and believe me, they are appreciated. A lot of times we don't get to get critiqued when we're a host like this, and it's nice to hear. It really is.
Oh, you did great, Jim. You've been doing fine.
Thanks, Claire. Anything else you want to share? I'm going to try to, you know, normally I cut her off at about an hour, but I think I'm going to bring up my last guest, because I think I had to turn him away last time. But anything else you want to talk about, Claire, before we go?
Hey, man, the only thing I want to make sure that people understand is that the earth is not flat. So, like, if we've all got that in the chat, we're good.
Well, I think we're of like minds there, so we're
Awesome.
we're on the road to redemption. Well, Claire, say hello to Matthew. It's Matthew, right? Remember,
It is Matthew.
I'm horrible with names.
Said hey.
Yes, tell him we said hey, and have a good evening, will you?
I will, as long as you will.
Oh, you know I will.
All right. Tell your wife I said hey.
Will do. Take care, hon.
Bye.
Kind words indeed. I got to say, if I have a fault, it is not knowing how to take a compliment, or being flustered when a compliment is thrown my way. Not that it isn't one of the greatest things ever. I try not to dwell on that, because when somebody thinks that they're more than what they are, then that tends to make them try to be more than they are. And I would rather stay humble. But thanks so much for that, Claire. Can't believe she wrote that down. That is so awesome. I'm sure you guys know what that means, and what it might mean to somebody like me. And that's just fantastic. Just fantastic. Before I bring up my next guest, I do want to say hello to Flash in Japan. How you doing, Ed? I've been watching you. Been watching you chat for a while, bud, but I couldn't say anything. Jelly Duck 100, how are you doing? You taking off, Claire, or she may just be saying goodbye from the screenshot there. And also, who does? Oh, Drone Kings of Darwin. How are you doing, Brad? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see all of you. All of you. If I missed anyone, I hope. Oh, crap, my dad makes me watch. Adam, good to see you. Where is Danny Black? First time, I believe, at least chatting in the show. How you doing, Where is Danny Black? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm just going to cruise here just for a minute real fast. Thank you for the congratulations on 900, Ed. Appreciate that. Flash in your pan. Great. Gary Sprinkler up here. There he is. Video calling show. Here's your big 1K getting close, brother. It is getting closer. It is getting closer. I'm hopeful. If I had a wish, it would be that by the end of November, I would at least have my 1K and get my community tab, because that will officially be 1 year. December 1st, I believe. I'll have to go back and look and see exactly what day I started, but that's got to be real close. If I get anywhere in November, December, I'm A-okay with that. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I don't think I missed anyone else. If I missed you, or if you've got questions for me or my guests, by all means, tag me in the chat. I'll try to grab them. I try to look over there every once in a while. But let's do this. Let me pull up my next guest. See if I can whip this name in here really fast. Can you hear me, sir?
Oh, I can hear you very well, good sir.
How are you, Nag? This is not a great gamer, folks. Oh, I got it all spelled out. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I am fine, thank you, sir.
So, what did the big gamer want to be when he was just a little gamer?
Oh, video calling show. When I was child, I want to be gamer.
Hey, man, I'm thinking mission accomplished.
But not great one.
Oh, well, then, doubly. I mean, that's a twofer.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my impression of a Scottish person.
I may just have to cut that out.
Yeah, no, I like making it awkward for you.
Dude, you can't make it awkward for me.
I could.
No, my entire show is awkward. How are you going to make it awkward?
I'll get my penis out.
Well, that might do it. But that'll also get me banned. And I do have my finger on the trigger, so.
I feel weird for even saying that one. I do apologise.
You should. You should. Both. Feel weird and apologize.
Well, I retract my apology and I retract feeling weird, so it's on you.
Nope. Not that easy. Not that easy. It's already in the books, man. It's on tape. We can actually rewind it if you want to.
Okay then, Jimmy. You want to know what I wanted to be?
I do, man. I do.
Let's make something up really interesting.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be a dodecahedron.
Dude, no geometry. You cannot be geometry.
Okay.
Your parents probably should have told you that.
No, the truth is, when I was a child, I wanted to be a fireman.
Did you?
But then I got arrested for arson at the age of 12, my first ever arrest. I think I've mentioned that on this panel before. It was my first ever.
No, you've mentioned the fireman. You have not mentioned the arrest until now. I would remember that.
I have kind of got an obsession with fire. As a child, I always wanted to be a fireman. And then I saw that film Backdraft. Absolutely petrified me as a child.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the never-ending story when the horse dies in the swamp. Bastards.
Well, I've seen Backdraft, but I have not seen all of the never-ending story. Bits and pieces, yes, but not the whole thing.
Well, I've ruined it for you now. Horse dies in the swamp.
That's okay. Spoiler alert, folks. Horse dies in the swamp.
And also, it says the never-ending story, but that's a lie because the film actually ends. So as soon as you've watched it, get your money back on false advertising. Just a little ploy for you.
Like you're full of lies, movie. Full of lies.
I blame Clinton.
I blame the schools.
I blame Obama.
Why not? Well, no, it came out before he was president, so you can't really blame him.
Doesn't matter in this modern day and age.
Oh well, actually, we could blame Nixon.
Ooh.
Yeah, just an aftermath. You know, that was yet another domino that took a while to fall.
Who's was that one who went in as, he was unelected as vice president, then he got in as president and was only in for 2 years. Gerald Ford, was that?
Yes, because of
Blame
the.
him.
Oh, absolutely. Him and Lyndon B. Johnson.
Couldn't even
they're
get
both at
re-elected.
fault. Yeah, Lyndon dropped out, but yeah, Ford, nope, couldn't do it.
See, and
But man,
I'm just going to point out, as an Englishman, I bet none of you American twats in chat knew that, apart from about 2 or 3 of you. Learn your history. Carry on, please, Jim. Please, sir. Go, 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 go.
Oh, I was done.
Okay, then I'll carry on insulting the Americans.
That's okay.
I
It wasn't
love
really
your
an insult.
country.
And we love yours. By the way, Mike Phillips, how you doing?
You don't.
Actually, I do. I've been to your country, man.
Do you?
Yeah. Yep.
How many acts of incest did you witness?
0, actually. Well.
Then you have not visited my country. So.
I did buy some really nasty toothpaste, but beyond that, it was.
We have toothpaste?
Yes, you do.
Fuck me.
It's made of sugar.
No, our toothpaste is made from rotten teeth, probably.
Ground up rotten teeth.
It's the irony.
Wow, that's a dental sort of incest right there.
I can't believe we have Brandine. We have toothpaste. We're going to go and look for that toothpaste later because I never knew. And to think, for all of these years, the government's been telling me to brush my mouth with shit.
They were just working on the sanitation problem. So don't.
We ain't got sanitation in London. We ain't got nothing.
Well, you're obviously not brushing your teeth then.
Clearly not. Have you seen the state of my teeth? Have you seen the state of England's teeth? England's flag should just be replaced to a rotten fucking tooth.
Actually, we could get Adam from Crap My Dad Makes Me Watch to design your flag. I'm thinking a poop emoji, man.
Oh, poop emoji.
Yeah.
Or what about a rotten tooth in a poop?
Yes. We're onto something, man. We'll call it the shit tooth party, and we'll actually make a run for Parliament.
There's a turd on my motherfucking flag. That was to the Marine song, but of course I changed the lyrics about my turd. And I wasn't insulting the Marines, by the way. I love that song. It's an amazing song. Not the sung version. No, the sung version's a bit egotistical.
It is.
It's like God Save the Queen. It's like, guess the next lyric. I wonder what that's about.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
How long have I got anyway up here?
How long do you want, man? I do have to be up early. I got to run out to Greenfield at 8 a.m. So
as if I know where that is.
Oh, I know. Well, it's about a half hour away, so I got to leave here about 7:30.
That's helpful for me as well.
What's that?
I don't know where Greenfield is. I don't know where you are, apart from your state. Therefore,
all you need to know that it's a half an hour away.
So if I find Greenfield on a map and then calculate average speed, I can find your house.
Yeah, within a radius of half an hour. So come on.
Houses at night with a sausage.
Mr. Geometry, you should know that.
So hecahedron is what I wanted to be.
Hecahedron. Sounds like a Middle Eastern dish, but I know what it is. So, yes, within a circle.
Yeah.
Good luck with
Within a circle. You mean a radius?
I did. That's why I said the first part.
I need to buy myself a compass. And I mean one that does circles, not one that measures angles.
It's due north-south is from Greenfield.
Who's a Jew in the north-south?
Yeah, north-north-south.
Didn't get that joke, did you?
I didn't hear it.
you said it's Jew north-south, and I went, who's a Jew in the north-south? And you completely overskipped.
Oh.
Yeah, my Jew joke. Yes. Oh, no, I've just made it awkward now. I'm going. Fuck you.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't be able to become a geometric shape. I truly am.
So am I. Even an isosceles triangle was my second reserve, and they were like, fuck you.
Well, everybody's got to have a backup plan.
So I ended up becoming a man with tits.
I'm going to call that a silver lining.
It is a silver silver lining.
You don't have to leave the house.
I do. Oh, excuse me. Well, no, I won't say that either. Right, I'm going.
All right, buddy.
I'm going. Yeah, well, let me just tell you, and everyone, this has been the time of my life, and I never felt this way before. I'm done.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Apart from if you're the person who puts baby in the corner, it has to get there somewhere. Or you have some kind of baby mangonel.
Watch the movie. Baby usually puts baby in a corner.
Magneto could, if aforementioned baby was metal.
Oh, I'm sure of that. Absolutely.
Or Jesus.
Or that, yeah.
Jesus did not walk on water. He had a hovercraft.
I thought it was a hoverboard.
This isn't Back to the Future. This is real life.
Yeah, hovercraft, real life. Okay, I'm with you, man.
Prove it didn't happen.
You prove it did happen.
I did. I can. You're looking in the Bible.
Can't prove a negative, my friend. Cannot prove a negative.
You can.
No, you can't.
Well, all right. So if you've got minus energy in the terms of voltage, and then you measure that and it comes out at minus voltage.
We're not talking about negative integers. That integers.
It's still the same thing. You said you can't confirm negative, and I've just proven that you can confirm bloody negative in a way.
No, I don't want. Well, yeah, okay. Technically, you can.
What do you mean
prove...
technically? I've just given you scientific proof that you can do it. I'm pretty sure that they have even some rails across energized where there's a minus current. But there you go.
I'm standing by my statement.
And that's why you Americans lose everything. Fucking you.
Hey, we're proud of that.
Yes, you are.
That's right, man.
Yeah. Go America. Let me in, please, Donald.
America.
Please, let me
fuck
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they would. Fuck yeah. Let me in, please, America. Let me in.
Any final words, my friend?
Yeah, America. Let me in. Make it so I don't have to marry someone. Or
I'll try. I'll lobby.
Become one of those desperate people standing outside Home Depot waiting for work. See, hey, working. I don't want to be that. I want to have a job. I want to chase tornadoes. And I want to.
That is a job.
And I want to live by the Indiana Dunes.
Oh no, you don't. No, that sounds fun. It's a great place to visit. But that means, oh yeah, you would get lake effect snow, that's for sure.
I would love it.
Yeah, for a season or two.
And in the summer, I'd have sand, and in the winter, I'd have snow.
Yeah.
And then I could walk into the lake and go, look, fish.
You want to live by a giant inland body of water? Look at Lake Okeechobee down in Florida.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not moving to Florida.
Oh,
I go in that lake and I come out of a blooming crocodile hanging off of my leg. Well, alligator.
Well, you just got to be careful.
No, I'm not being careful. Right, look, 12 gauge doesn't work too well underwater. All right, you've got like literally a foot range.
I know.
With a blooming alligator. I ain't going right. You've got rattlesnakes down there. You've got rattlesnakes up where you are. You've got tarantulas down there. I ain't having no tarantula in my bed. It's too hot down there. I want somewhere where it's cool in the winter, hot in the summer, and where I can just literally go into my back garden, yard as you say, get my guns out and just shoot at everything and go, America! And then everyone's fine with it.
All right. Wonderful dream. I'm all about it. But I got to correct you. When you said you want somewhere warm in the summer and cool in the winter, if you moved to Indiana Dunes, cool is not an option. Cold is an option.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I live in England.
Well, what's in Fahrenheit? What's your average temperature in the wintertime?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not a mobile calculator.
Oh. Well, in Celsius, what would it be?
In what summer or winter was that?
Winter. Dead of winter. How does it sit? You're in the northern hemisphere. Where does it sit around January?
Anything from where we are, anything from 15 degrees centigrade to minus 10 centigrade.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but that's still not bad.
Okay.
When you double it and what did Brad say last night? Double it and add 30. That's not bad.
All right. Okay. So
it gets a little chillier here up there.
14 Fahrenheit isn't cold.
What's that? 14. Oh no, that's cold.
That's what we get here on occasion. We had it last year.
Oh yeah, and we get that a lot in the Midwest. I don't know about you, man, but I freaking hate it. Of course, you're not as old as I am. I still can't believe I live in Indiana because of the weather. It wasn't for family, I wouldn't.
You live in a good state.
Yeah, Indiana's a good state. It's
much better than like Florida, where it's so hot.
True. I'll give you that, but I was going for the large body of water, and I couldn't think of another one other than like Salt Lake or something like that. Where
I wouldn't want to live by a Salt Lake. I have to be where I'm an islander. I have to be near a body of water.
Mm-hmm.
I could not physically live hundreds of miles from water. It would drive me insane. I'd feel trapped. I don't like the sea because there's fish, and I hate fish, and I hate sharks, and I hate octopi. But I will need to be near the water just because I need to. It's hard to explain.
No.
As an islander, it's the thought of being hundreds of miles. Like, for example, moving to like for Colorado, where there's just nothing. That would freak me out.
Yeah, even Brad says that 14 degrees Fahrenheit is 10 degrees Celsius. That's cold. It is cold, but it's something that we deal with every single winter for weeks on end. It doesn't bother me as much as just the transition. But anyway, so having said all that, gamer, Great Lakes might be for you, man. I'm all, if you can deal with the cold like you do now, I'll say, then hey, do it.
I can go out in the winter and do things as well. That's how good America is.
Yes.
It's just like you're sitting in your living room on your computer, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go and shoot up my washing machine. And then that's it. Just go put holes in it. You can't do that over here, And admittedly, there's going to be a lot of things in my house. There's going to be bins, washing machines, even a toilet will probably have a couple of 45s going through it. But they'll all function still.
Yeah, but they don't get the clothes near as clean after that.
Don't
ask me how I know.
I've Americanized it. That's all that matters.
Well, I still even Adam from Crap My Dad Makes Me Watch says every state is better than Florida.
Even California?
No. Adam, you couldn't have meant California. Although Northern California is absolutely beautiful. I spent a lot of time in Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Never been there, so I don't know what I'm on about.
Yeah, the countryside is beyond belief, man. That and even the Northwest where Ed just was near Puget Sound in the Cascades between that and the Olympias. Oh, it's just striking. He actually had some pictures on Facebook that just took me back.
North California does look pretty. Well, South California, apart from it being kind of a desert and then a concrete jungle with rattlesnakes and lobsters, land lobsters, which are scorpions.
A lot of what is I know. But the beauty, the landscape's beautiful, Ed. What was I going to say? The problem with California is there's too much money and not enough brains in the area.
Yes.
Yep. All right, buddy. Well, it is 11:34, and I got to get up early. So, and you got to start your day.
Oh, I haven't. Excuse me, sir. I have no day.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have no life.
Well, come back and talk to us, and for love of Pete, get your passport situation figured out so you can get over here and share a beer, man.
Yeah, if anyone wants to send me, $1,000 or $2,000,
Well,
Please don't, because that would just be fucking weird. But it was a nice plug. It was a nice plug.
Nice shameless plug.
Nice plug. And I'm not talking about a butt one either. Anyway, I'm gone. Bye.
All right, we'll see you, bud.
God's blessings to you and good health.
Same to you. Oh, man. Just when I say I'm going to stay on for an hour, I stay on for an hour and a half. I'm okay with that, as long as you guys are. I appreciate you hanging out with me for as long as you have. And Brad, yeah, I know. I said 14 degrees which was negative 10 degrees Celsius. 14 degrees. Yep. Did I also say that? So Jesse agrees with Tahiti. Oh man. Nugget Braden Peterson, how you doing? I meant to say hello to you earlier. I saw you pop in. Good to see you, my friend. If you guys are wondering on the YouTube feed, all these folks that have wrenches have actually been on the show. And, they're good people, and I know they've got my back. Whenever there's, trouble in the chat. So that's just a little FYI. Okay, tomorrow night, folks. Tomorrow night, we're going to do yet another news show. We're going to talk about the most current news. And, of course, we all know that, actually, oddly enough, Angel touched on one of the stories. We're going to talk about that couple who's got that boy who's in transition. One side wants it done, the other one doesn't. I want to talk about that. I haven't chosen the second story yet, but you'll have to tune in tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to find out what that's about. And then, of course, next week, nearly all Halloween. Look at my channel page on YouTube, and you'll see that I've already put up several shows. Actually, I've filled the week of shows. Ought to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's time we had some fun as well. And I hope you guys are ready for that. I think, if you guys are watching this after it's been processed, now's a great time. Hit that like button. It's right there. And go ahead and follow. And if you feel so inclined, maybe you want to be on the show, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can always be notified when I go live. That is Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for now, I'm going to call it a night. I want to thank all my guests, of course. It was a really, really great conversation. I love hearing what people might have, thought that they would be when they were younger. I really want to talk to you again, Cynthia, if you're still listening. How you doing, Burley Lauren? Good to see you. I would really like to have another conversation about it, because I didn't get to tell you much about my aspirations of being an archaeologist. But we'll save that for another show. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another one of these. But for now, I have to bid you farewell, and I have to leave you. Stormy, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. Jimbo's nice. But at any rate, good night, and make sure that you treat others the way you would want to be treated. If we all did that, we would improve this world tenfold. Thank you, folks. We'll see you live.